Yeah, hey everybody, Dan here, ready to rock out with some fun music conversation with not only guitarist, teacher, and author of Raising a Musical Child, which if he has more than one, but also a film composer. Can't wait to talk about that. Old friend Chris Kalafus, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show, and I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you, and I really want to start with, we'll go into your musical journey or history. We'll talk about the girls, but the book, as soon as you told me about it, it interested me because as I was growing up in the 70s, we're the same age as we were growing up in the 70s. And as I started to have kids, that margin, which wasn't a lot of time for me, the music programs were being left out of schools. The funding was being cut,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I remember only maybe 3 or 4 years of me being out of what was called junior high back then in Los Angeles. The music programs I participated in, concert band, orchestra, and Tuesday night jazz band, those rooms were dark. And the equipment, the school equipment was gathering dust. And I couldn't believe it because I went back to visit some teachers and do some volunteer work when I was about, I want to say, I might have still been in high school. So I might have been, no, I was probably like 20, 18, 20, something like that. So I was only at that school a few years earlier and it was rocking literally with these music programs. But over time that's been cut. I don't know because we don't have little kids anymore. Well, we got a lot of little grandkids, 19 of them, and some older grandkids. I don't know what the landscape is like at school now, but music, those of us who know the science behind music and building better study habits and just how enriching it can be. There's two things that I've always said bring people together, and that's music and food. No matter what the culture is, it's music and food. And here you've got this book that's all about raising a musical child. What are some of the biggest takeaways that people can expect, and what was the inspiration behind the book, Chris?
Uh, the inspiration, and first of all, you were lucky to have that experience in school. When I
Yeah.
was in school, we didn't have a lot going on.
Where
Now,
were you? Where
yeah,
were you?
in Connecticut here, in
Okay.
my middle school, I remember going up to the piano one time. The teacher had us all line up, and we played a little one-finger boogie woogie. Boom, 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 boom. Next, boom, boom, boom. That's what I remember from middle school music. High school was a
Wow.
little better, but I didn't get involved in the band or anything. I was playing guitar by then, so I
Yeah.
was like gonna march around the field.
But did they have band? Did they have concert band and orchestra and stuff?
In high school, they did, yeah.
Not in junior high though?
You know what? I think they did now that I think about it, because my good friend Mark was he played electric bass in the band.
Oh, cool.
So it was cool. But I've been teaching for 30 years and in middle school. And this
Oh,
year's my 30th year in the classroom. And
wow. So you have your finger on the pulse of what the music programs are like, at least in your area.
yeah, yeah, and I've been doing a School of Rock type of thing long before School of Rock was a thing. Do you guys have School of Rock out there out where
Um,
you are?
we have it in. Is there one out here in Phoenix? I'm not in Phoenix. I'm out in the mountains near Phoenix, but I think there's one in Phoenix, and I think that they're on the West Coast. My good friend Lou Caldarella, who also hosts Under the Influence with me, is part of one in. I always forget. He lives in Brewster, but I think it's in the city where he's one of the main teachers. He's been there like 20 years or something too. So I'm real familiar with what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a great program. I start the year out. I know I'm not answering your first question. I want to go back
Okay.
to that, how I got started, but
Yeah.
you were talking about school, so I
Yeah.
want to jump in about that.
Sure.
I start the year out teaching the kids ukuleles, and then
Oh,
we move to guitars. Then we move to keyboards. I have
really?
ukuleles. I have 35 guitars. I have 25 keyboards I set up. And then we move to drums. We're on drums right now. I have 4 drum sets in my classroom.
I want to go to your school.
Yeah, 3 electronic drum sets and 1
Wow.
real drum set. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I collected all these over the years. And then we're moving on to bass guitar next week. And then in about 2 or 3 weeks from now, we start bands. And
Wow.
it has to be in a band. And then at the end of the year, I do a concert. And I call it West Stock because I'm at a school called West Shore. And so we call it West Stock. And last year, there were 23 bands on stage playing anything from Beatles and Led Zeppelin to Beyonce and Bruno Mars. And
Send me videos. We love posting stuff like that.
yeah. So
Yeah, if the parents don't mind,
yeah,
that's a whole other thing. I get that, but that
yeah.
is so cool. My wife about, I don't know, 3 months ago, probably longer. Everything's longer ago than I remember, but she bought me a brand new ukulele for $40, and it's brand new, came in a case. It's beautiful. I've messed with it a
It's
couple
great.
times, so I want to learn how to play it. I used to play bass. I have 3 different guitars, a 6-string electric, my dad's 1957 Giannini classical guitar from Brazil, and I have a Quattro 10-string guitar like John Anderson plays. And I
Nice.
used to play them quite frequently, but I'm really, really rusty. I got to get back to it because it's fun. I love playing different instruments.
Yeah, no, it's great to do that. We can go off in a whole direction playing different instruments too.
Yeah,
That's a whole
for sure.
that's a whole thing in itself.
Yeah.
But to get back to your original question though, like how it all started, I grew up in a family. Everybody was sports. There's a organization here in town called the Breakettes, and they're an international women's softball team. Some of the
Oh,
greatest female athletes of all time have played on this team. And my mother was an original member back in 1947. So
wow.
my family was very sports. Everybody played everything. We played baseball, we played football, basketball. We're always playing, and not a lot of music going on in my house. And
Oh,
so when I was about 14 years old, I discovered the greatest band in the world, and you know who I'm talking about.
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I found this album, this Brown album,
Oh,
and I
wait. Wait, I'm sorry. I gotta tell everybody.
yeah,
So, folks,
yeah,
listen carefully to the live on Facebook and YouTube. This is for only live viewers. Chris is going to give away 2 books, but you have to listen carefully to this interview because I'm going to ask 2 trivia questions later, and the first person to answer each question on either Facebook or YouTube gets a book. Wow, I almost forgot to mention that. Yeah.
yeah. I forgot too. So
Yeah.
so good. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? Maybe we'll ask what album that was. So
Yeah.
I remember going to my friend's house, and he had the turntable, and we put it on, and there was the riff, a whole lot of love, and
Yeah.
it started everything. It started everything. And then I wrote about this in my book that not long after that, I was 14 years old. A friend of mine who drove, he was 16. And I used to hear everybody talk about the midnight movies. Did you ever go to the midnight movies when
Yeah.
you were a kid?
Yeah.
Midnight movies was Song Remains Same,
Yeah.
Tommy, Woodstock, uh,
Yes, songs,
you
Alice
know, yeah,
Cooper.
what,
Yeah.
whatever, Frank Zappa's movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, we'd go to the midnight movies. So my mother would never let me go. So I'm
And my
still,
mother took me
oh,
and
nice.
went with me and watched the movies with me. Yeah.
That is awesome. That's a
Yeah.
whole nother subject we could talk
For
about is
sure.
the generation gap and how some parents
Yeah.
bridge the gap and some parents keep
Yeah.
the gap
I think
separate.
my mom even smoked something she didn't buy at a store during
Yeah.
that time, I think. My parents were born in 1940, so,
Okay.
uh, this was back when I was 13, 13, 14. So that would have been, 73, 70, I'm sorry, 77, 78. Yeah,
Right.
it was right in that era. Yeah, but
Yeah.
she went with me a couple times. It was fun.
That's awesome. That
And
is
my
awesome.
dad took me to see Led Zeppelin.
You saw Zeppelin
Yeah,
live.
I was
I know.
14. It was life-changing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sounds like such a platitude, right? "It changed my life," but it did. It changed the path of my life,
It changed the
like
path
it
of
did
my life.
yours.
Yeah. So I go to the movie and I'm sitting there and I'm like, what is this? Gangsters in cars and they're shooting and like what is this? I thought this was a music movie. 'Cause you remember the intro, 15 minutes of Song Remains Same is that the fantasy sequence or whatever they called it. But
Yeah,
then the pace started picking up. And next thing you know, you hear Bonzo, all right, let's go. And that
Yeah.
iconic drum to rock and roll and that scream.
Yeah, from behind them. So cool.
And,
And there's always, it seems like I gotta interrupt. I'm sorry. Whenever we go live, you know, I have 1.3 million followers on Facebook. I got a ton of followers on here. There's always one troll that leaves some crazy comment, and I'm gonna put this one on screen and call them out.
they're opening one in my neighborhood in LA. I know that girl. I know that girl.
How's it going, young lady? That's
Hey,
cool.
Caitlin.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's trolling us. All right.
There you go.
We'll get a job there, Kate. They should hire you. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's a good gig. So I'm sorry, go on. So Whole Lot of Love is like mind expanding. That then you see the movie.
Yeah, I see the movie, and that was it. And to be honest, at first I wanted to play drums, and
Yeah.
so
Smart.
and for my 15th birthday, I you know we were celebrating my birthday, and my mom goes, your present's under the couch. I was like, you can't put a drum set under the couch. What is that all about? And I pull out this flat box and I open it up, and there it was, like a Sears special guitar.
Oh,
And yeah, it was a guitar instead.
wow. And what was your, like, what did you think?
I was like, yeah, all right, it's not a drum set, but and then my brother said, my friend Frank's gonna give you guitar lessons. And so that's how it started. Frank would come
Wow.
over, hour-long lesson, $5. Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
$5.
Wow.
And then from there it just all went. It all went. He wanted to move from one music store that he was teaching at to another one, and he asked me to fill in for him for a couple days. And next thing I know, I was there for like 8 years or 10 years or something
Wow.
like that, teaching guitar, and got up to 5 days a week playing in bands. And that's kind of how it all started. But it was Led Zeppelin that changed my life. And who would have thought that 40 years after that I'd be sitting in Madison Square Garden with tears running down my cheeks watching my daughter play drums in that exact spot where John
Yeah.
Bonham's drum set was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
For those who don't know, Caitlin plays with Cyndi Lauper, one of the many things she does musically. And that's one of the gigs that Chris is referring to. And we'll get back to Caitlin. We'll tell on her a little bit, or I will. And then what was the inspiration to the book? Was it had to do with your daughters, I'm sure, and being a parent raising musical kids? And you figured there's got to be some wisdom and value in that experience to share with other parents to encourage them to do so? Or was it to support those going crazy that were already doing it?
It was the kids were in Kickin' Daisies by then. They were in the Disney band.
The cover of the book right there. Beautiful cover.
It looks, thank you.
Yeah, we're going to give 2 away, folks. We're going to give 2 away, so pay attention because I'm going to ask a couple of trivia questions.
Yeah. So they were in the band Kickin' Daisies. That was, they were on Disney Channel. And I remember we were flying across country. We were flying from New York to LA. And on the plane, I had my iPad, and I was like, you know what? I should write a book about this experience. I should start taking notes about what's happening. And that's how it originally started, was I started just jotting down, we're landing in LA, we're going to be getting off, going to the radio station, and then we're going to go to the Troubadour, and they're playing a show there tonight, and like Doc McGee's going to be there, and it was like
that's where I grew up playing in the early to mid 80s. I played at the Troubadour and all up and down the Sunset Strip. But the thing about the Troubadour is my parents used to go there to date. They used to date there and go see poetry with the bongo guy and spoken word, and Simon and Garfunkel they saw there. I think they saw Peter, Paul, and Mary. So to play there where my parents used to date was real special. That's neat that you got to play there. It's a legendary place.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was surprised though when we walked in how small it actually is. You
Yeah.
know, when you hear about it, you hear who came out of there, the Eagles,
Yeah.
James Taylor and Carole
Yeah.
King, all the legendary stories. And then you
Yeah.
go in and it's like, all right, there's the stage and there's the wall. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Elton John was, on that stage. I mean, just crazy,
Yeah.
crazy to think the history. So that's kind of how the book started. It was like, God,
Elton John, as Tom Owensy says. Yeah, Elton John. John Denver, I think my parents saw there as well.
okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I just started jotting things down, writing things down, typing them in, and then I don't know. I just somewhere along the line I got the idea of, all right, well, this isn't going to be that interesting. Nobody's going to read about my life. So how do I make it so be something a little more interesting? So I actually put the book into three parts. The beginning is how
Oh,
it all started to kind of give people a little idea of you don't know what's coming at you in life and you don't know
sure.
what's going to make you go this road, that road, up the hill,
Right.
down the hill, or wherever you're going to go.
Great point.
Yeah. And then, and that was it. I talk about the moment with the Song Remains Same and talk about a lot of different moments. The moment where Caitlin sat on the stairs when I brought home a drum set from my school. It was 25 years ago, and I brought home the drum set. Last day of school, it was going to collect dust all summer. I didn't know how to play. It was just the drum set we had there.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, last day of school, I'm going to take it home, go teach myself a couple of beats. And I'm sitting here and I'm trying to play. Boom. This is God's honest truth. I swear to God, swear to my kids, this is a true story. Boom. I'm playing and I can't do it. And then here she comes down the steps, little 8-year-old girl sitting on steps. And what does she say? Can I try?
Right.
And I go, sure. She comes down and she's like barely able to, 8 years old. And she starts going, boom, spots, boom, spots, boom. I go, keep playing, keep playing. I go, get my guitar, plug it in, and I start playing. She's boom, spots, boom, spots, ba-na-na, ba-na-na, da-na-na,
Perfect.
da-na-na, da-na-na. And we played that riff
Wow.
hours, hours, and she kept playing that beat and and that's how it all started.
I remember we showed one of those early videos of her when she was 8 or 9, the last time I had her on the show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
and that's
amazing.
how it all started. So the Led Zeppelin thing, and then me taking home that drum set. If I didn't bring home that drum set,
Yeah, who knows? She
we go in
probably
a different
grew
direction.
up to be a criminal.
Who knows? Yeah,
Close. She's a drummer, but she's on the straight and narrow.
yeah, she's doing pretty good. She's a good one.
So that's the first part of the book, how it all started.
Yep. And then the second part is just my philosophy about music and what it is and how we learn it, nature and nurture. And I read some things. I do put the opening paragraph as a disclaimer saying I didn't do any scientific tests. I am not a scientist.
Right.
Don't hold me accountable if your kid doesn't become some superstar. Don't sue me. Uh, but so I was I wrote a part about rhythm and how I have often wondered how does a baby who's only like a year old or not even a year old, a week old, know how to move when they hear a beat? All of a sudden they're laying there and they start moving.
Yeah.
Like, who taught this kid to dance? And you ever think about that? Like, why?
Yeah, somehow I've thought about that, and it's either to me, not to get too woo-woo, but to me, it's either a past life thing or very simply, music is built into our neurology, and that's how humans created it because it indeed is part of us. A lot of people have referred to the heartbeat. There's a natural rhythm in all of us. When people say, I don't have rhythm, you just haven't discovered it yet, or you might not be coordinated yet, or so. But we all have rhythm. It's right here. It's
Yep,
right about there.
yep. And
I think that's part of it.
everything has rhythm. And that's what I wrote about that. My philosophy, my thought is that we learn because when your mother gets excited and tense and adrenaline starts flowing, you're in the womb. the heartbeat raises. Now you know faster beat means a little more,
Yeah.
excitement, and slower beat means calm and
Yeah.
relax. And then just on February 4th, this is the craziest thing. I released the book on February 12th. On February 4th, an article came out from Italy, the Institute of Rome, and they took 49 babies. And before these children were born, they played for the mothers specific rhythms and specific beats. And after they were born, they played for the babies those rhythms and other rhythms. And they did what would it be, an EEG or something, whatever, or like the brain scan.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they found that the babies reacted to the familiar rhythms more than they did to the rhythms they've never heard before.
Ooh, that
So
is so interesting.
yeah, so they surmise that, they do know that babies after a couple months, after like 3 months, are starting to hear inside the womb. So, you
That's
could start learning, and
yeah.
yeah,
That's so there's such a whole deep subject there. I mean, that's
oh,
pretty
amazing.
yeah.
It's amazing. And so, like one of the first things I suggest in the book, it's some of it is before the baby's even born, is headphones. The old
Yeah.
school cans.
Yeah.
Put them on.
Right
We
on the
used to
tummy.
put them on my wife's belly, and we would play all kinds of music,
Wow.
and her stomach would start bumping. That she would
Yeah.
feel Caitlin move or my other daughters move.
So interesting.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that I put in there. And then, there's a lot of other things, getting toy instruments to start with, things with colors and keep, playing simple songs, Twinkle Twinkle and things like that. And, Three Blind Mice and, and that's kind of how it started. And who
So
knows what the truth
interesting.
is, or what really helps kids learn, but it certainly didn't hurt my kids. My other daughter, as
Right.
you know, Carly, she also plays. She plays bass. She plays guitar and different instruments. And she was also in that Kick and Daisies band. They traveled all around the country
Yeah.
and played music. And my youngest daughter hates when I say this, but she's the most talented one out of all of them. And she
Really?
doesn't play, yeah, she plays music, but she doesn't do it professionally or anything.
Oh, what's her instrument of choice? Does she
Uh, guitar. And
okay.
she'll come home. She lives in Manhattan. She'll come home. She'll grab my guitar, sit on the couch, and play. And
Yeah.
I'll be like, "What is that?" And she's like, "I don't know. I'm just
She's just
playing."
noodling,
And she
figuring
just plays, and
it
I'll be
comes
like,
out.
show
Wow.
me what you're playing. How did you do that? Where'd you learn that?" And she goes, "I don't know."
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's the cover, folks, on the screen.
yeah.
That's Chris's new book, Raising a Musical Child. We're talking about the inspiration behind it, and we're going to talk about some takeaways from the book. And Chris is going to give 2 books away to the watching the live stream. If you're watching the live stream, you're eligible. I'm going to ask 2 trivia questions that are questions about something that comes out of this interview. So pay attention, and I'll ask them toward the end. So just be patient. We'll go about 3.5 hours before I ask him. I'm just kidding. Um, we'll
I'm
go
down.
like,
I can talk all night. So,
for sure, especially about this. We'll go like another 20 minutes or so, and
okay.
then we're gonna do that. So the first person to ask, it's nothing you can Google because it's a fact that came out of this interview. So pay attention, everybody. Great. So what are some of the biggest takeaways? You mentioned buying toy instruments, starting them out with those simple songs that are almost like nursery rhyme songs that they would probably recognize as
Yeah.
little songs they hear at school, and the musical books and things like that. What else could a parent learn who is considering, or maybe even didn't consider, putting their kid in a music program?
My dog's going crazy over here.
Oh, that's
Um,
okay. I can't hear it.
yeah. Well, one of the things I remember early on, what we would do is once Caitlin learned on her little toy, like xylophone with the different color buttons,
Yeah, I
that
remember those.
toy, it was like red was the C note and blue was the D note and all the way up, and it was an octave. Once she learned how to play Twinkle Twinkle, I used to say things to her like, "Play it jazzy." She'd be like, "What do you mean jazzy?" I'd be like, "Well, instead of just going down, 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 how about going down, 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 and
Yeah.
swing it a little bit,
Yeah.
or play it faster, play it slow, play it quiet."
Mhm.
So it was things like that. We used to play a lot of games in the car with the music we were listening to, whether it was classical music, jazz, Led Zeppelin, Rush, like whoever it was. What do you hear? And my girls used to compete. You know,
Oh,
I hear
interesting.
drums, I hear guitar, I hear piano. If we're listening to classical music, I hear flute, or I hear clarinet, or I hear an oboe, or
Yeah.
yeah,
That's really developing an ear for music and be able to identify, instruments by how they sound, determining, woodwind from a brass instrument and
right.
different things like that. Even the different stringed instruments, violin, viola, double bass, and that's a great way for them to learn. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to tune in on it. So music isn't just a passive background thing. Not that that's a bad thing, to just have it in your life, and but they tuned in on it, and they listened a little more careful, and
Mhm.
they just learned to do that. And I think if we all kind of pay a little more attention to music, like in a movie. Sometimes you can watch a whole
Yeah.
movie and somebody could say, "Oh, wasn't that a great soundtrack?" And there was music in that movie.
Right,
You
some people just are yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you don't realize it sometimes, but yeah, so it just got them to focus. So there, a lot of games, a lot of things. There's suggestions in there about playing with better people, playing with
Oh,
better, and that was where Caitlin really grew as a drummer. Is we went to a party, and the guy came up and he goes, "Hey, you mind if Caitlin come up and play a little drums with us?" And so Caitlin went up and played a little honky tonk woman. I remember the drummer, and no disrespect to the guy, but it was kind of the guy goes, "I start on the cowbell."
how old was he? Or how old was she?
She was like 10, 11, maybe. No, I think, yeah, around 11, maybe something like that. So he says, "I start on the cowbell and then I go to the beat." And Kate goes, "Oh, yeah, I know it." And the guy goes, "Okay." So they get up and play. She starts playing the cowbell, and she goes to the beat, and she's still playing the cowbell. And
Wow.
so
That's great.
she's doing, and the guy was like, so
That's a lot of coordination. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
playing it's a polyrhythm. It's playing 2 beats at the same time. There's the groove beat, and then there's there's the cowbell going through the whole
yeah,
thing, that ostinato. That's great. Wow.
yeah.
Um,
So that was a thing too. So a friend of mine said, "You're going to have to bring her to gigs. Why don't you just start a band with her?" And we ended up starting a band with the guy we met that day, a bass player who sang. And we jammed one time for about 2 hours in our basement. We invited him over, and we were playing some Jeff Beck, and we were playing some Rush tunes and some Zeppelin and stuff. And then a couple days later, he calls up. He goes, "What are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "I don't know." He goes, "Well, do you guys want to jam? My friend owns a bar, and the band canceled." I go, "We can't do a gig. We only jam for a couple hours." He goes, "It's."
and wasn't she like 10 or something, or
She was like 11 or 12 at
okay.
that time, something like that. Yeah. And we went to the bar, and so a lot of life lessons in that too
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Caitlin, you
Yeah,
know,
for sure. Oh, yeah.
and the bar fights, and
Oh, good grief. Ugh.
yeah, and seeing people like hammered, adults, parents, like her friends' parents in the bar.
Parents all drunk and stuff. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. That's
"Ah,
funny.
you're still really good at drums, yeah." And it's like, "Oh
Free
boy,
bird, free
yeah,
bird.
yeah, yeah." So, but so there were a lot of life lessons that Caitlin carries with her, and my other daughters too. But I talk mostly about her because she's the one who is still going on with the music and making it happen. She's out in Los Angeles right now. Hey, Kate.
Yeah, where in LA is she? I forgot.
She's in Eagle Rock.
Okay, I know where that is. Yeah,
Yeah,
past Pasadena, that area. By
yeah,
Tuscany
yeah.
Gardens, sort of. Yeah.
Beautiful area.
Yeah, it sure is.
Beautiful. Right on Colorado Ave. I'm not going to give the address away. The Colorado Ave reaches 5 miles. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful
Well,
area.
for those who don't know, not only did Caitlin get the Cyndi Lauper gig, but something kind of funny I discovered the first time I interviewed her, gosh, I don't know, 8 years ago now or something, is that she and I had something in common. When she showed up for the interview, she was she was healing a broken ankle, it was, right?
Yeah,
And
bro.
I showed up at an audition once with my right arm, and I'm right-handed, conveniently, in a full cast because I broke my main wrist bone in half.
Oh,
And I got that gig, and she got the Cyndi Lauper gig with a broken ankle, which is really
yeah,
cool. Yeah, it's just such a great story. Yeah.
yeah. That was an amazing day. I had to drive her down because she couldn't drive.
Yeah.
And so, she was ready to go and she needed somebody to drive her. She would, had she not broken the ankle, she would have gone, did the audition, come home. Who knows what would have
Who
happened?
knows? Yeah.
And I was there. I was standing in front of SIR Studios, one of the greatest moments of my life.
Yeah.
She went in for the audition, and I left to go have a drink at a bar because I was a wreck, you know. So a half hour later, she calls me up. She's like, "Come and get me. I'm done." I was like, "Ah." Like it wasn't even the time that she wasn't supposed to play with Cyndi until like 5:30, and it was like 5:15 or something. So I was like, "Oh, they kicked her out. They got rid of her." Well, I throw the guy money at the bar and I take off running through New York City as fast as I could. Come around the corner, she's not standing there. So I call her, or she called. All of a sudden, my phone rings. I go inside. My phone's ringing. It's her. I go, "Hey, where are you?" She goes, "I didn't want to look like a jerk waiting for my dad. I She goes, I crunched down the street with her cymbals on her back, her double kick pedal because she used double kick pedal because she couldn't use her right foot.
Right, and she's correcting me. Yeah, that's right. Broken foot, which is attached to the ankle for most people.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then she had her stick bag too. So she crutched all the way down. The kid at SIR goes, "Are you talking to her?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, they're looking for her." So I go, "Kate, get back here." She goes, "All right, I'm on my way." So she's crutching up the street. I'm standing in the middle. Cyndi comes out of SIR and right in front of me. "Hey, kid, I got good news and bad news. You got the gig," she says. And I got to see it. I got to be there.
That's amazing.
I had to hold it together the whole time.
Yeah,
I don't want to be like, my daughter's playing with me.
yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, and right in front of me, I was so blessed to be able to share that moment and witness that moment. Yeah, it was a pretty big moment. And 3 weeks later, we were at the Hollywood Bowl watching her play. And then about 2 months after that, they circled through the United States and Canada and came through New York City and played Madison Square Garden.
Just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very proud of you, Caitlin.
Yeah, me too.
Just such a great story. Great player too. I've seen her with Kicking Daisies on video, and the video where she was, I think, 9, maybe 8, and with Cyndi, of course, and just it's great to see that,
Yeah. So yeah, she's looking for gigs right now. She's got some people that she's working with, and LA is LA. Hopefully to get something big going on. So if anybody's out there looking for a great drummer,
I know someone
give her a call.
that came up in conversation today that I'll connect her with, that connects people with gigs, and he's a very well-known drummer and a great guy and a great musician, and he lives in the Valley. He lives in the San Fernando Valley, so I'll connect them. Yeah, Steve knows who I'm talking about, I think. Yeah. So what's the third section of the book? Did we cover that?
Yeah, well, yeah. The third section is the things, the activities
Okay. Oh,
that.
okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
So
Working the way
yes,
up.
one
Yeah.
is a little history. Section two is the philosophy of rhythm, of melody,
Hmm.
and of harmony.
Yeah.
And what I wrote about with harmony was just that the world needs to be in good harmony,
Yeah.
because dissonance creates chaos, and as we know, I don't want to get any kind of go near anything, but we can use good harmony in
For
this world
sure.
now. And it's nature is harmony, the way the
Yeah.
seasons go, and the way that the plants grow, and we need them in the sun, and the whole thing.
Yeah.
It creates
Yeah.
harmony.
And
So
it's a great analogy, Chris, because dissonance in music can be very disruptive, and that vibration change in, like you're saying, the harmony of life is disruptive. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. It's funny. What song is it? It's a Passion Play by Jethro Tull, and it's Ian is singing, and he says, let me think of the work my way up to where he says, I forgot what key the song is in, but he says, I think he says, in great dissonance, and you hear a violin go, "Rrrr." It's like totally out of, it's like, it's so funny. It's perfect.
Yeah.
That's great. So let's go to the fact that you also do film score work. Who's your biggest influence for doing film score work?
Uh,
Is it more like a Hans Zimmer? Is it more like John
yeah.
Williams? Is it more like Trevor Rabin? Where do you sit with your biggest influence in doing film score music?
It all depends on what I'm working.
Oh,
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, like any other music.
yeah, because it could be like Atticus and Trent, with the droney stuff. If I, need that, so I'll kind of check that, get inspired a little bit. Or recently, I did a short film called "Not the Same Clearance" about an older gentleman with Alzheimer's. His son
Oh,
was trying to come to terms with it, and the director wanted kind of a lighter at moments, wanted a lighter thing, and he mentioned Ted Lasso, like the
oh,
the, the TV show,
yeah.
and kind of like how that
That
music kind of doesn't really, it's not really like doesn't
it
go.
doesn't take over. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, definitely, Hans Zimmer, and of course John Williams for the for his his way that he uses melodic phrases over and over, like the iconic Jaws theme, the way he orchestrated that
Yeah.
so many different ways, or the Star Wars, and things like that. And that's nothing new. That's Beethoven and Mozart
Yeah.
and all that. So I recently I really love Sinners. Have you seen
I know of it. Oh, wow. Who were
the
we
new
just talking
movie?
with about that? Oh, Shiley Graf, who's on our staff and does the weekly news report on Fridays with Stephen. When we do our team meetings, we have an icebreaker question. And it was her turn to do the icebreaker question. No, it was my turn. And I said, what's a movie that you saw that you had very low expectations for, or maybe you didn't want to go? And she said Sinners, and it was just mind blowing. It was captivating. I haven't seen it
Yeah,
yet. Yeah.
yeah. Ludwig, I can't remember his name, but the guy is this amazing
Oh,
composer,
see it
and
just for that.
I love how he took the Robert Johnson kind of blues thing, but then he modernized it, and he had themes going on, and so it's it depends. I get so attracted to so many things. I just watched the other day also Another Battle, another what's the new Leonardo DiCaprio movie, and the music in
Oh,
there
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
very jazzy. You'd like it.
Oh,
Watch.
Stephen has the other answer for you. He saw Sinners as well last year and loved it. And he's saying, are you referring to here? I'll put on the screen.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
Ludwig Göransson. Yep,
Oh, the one who did The Mandalorian. And then also he says, One Battle After Another is a great film.
there
Okay.
it is. That's
Oh,
the one.
wow. I'd love to see
A lot
that.
of drums in this movie. You know, they use the drums to kind of create that tension and that
Yeah.
replay, while the piano player at times is just playing, while the drums are going off playing kind of like a jazz
Oh,
drum.
that's neat.
You know, so definitely check it out. I think you'd
Sure.
enjoy it.
Oh, that triggered one of the dogs big time. Hey, go lay
Oh,
down. Hey, my friend Chris. Look.
they thought the alarm was going off.
It built tension.
Yes, there it
You
is.
mentioned John Williams in Star Wars, and I always wondered if the Darth Vader march was that like the first thought and something he developed, or did it start out as dun 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 bum ba no, that's not it. Dun, 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 dun. No, that sounds too American. You know, I wonder like if it developed or if it just came to him. That's like the one question I would ask him.
Yeah, who knows? You know, there's a great podcast about John Williams, and
really?
they go through a lot of his movies, and one of the things they talked about was the studio kind of thought Star Wars was campy and silly.
Yeah.
Like, it was, you know, it was like a silly movie. It's like a cowboy western set in outer space.
Exactly.
You know, like a spaghetti western kind of thing. And until John Williams
put the music to it,
that incredible, iconic score, and
it could have came out how they thought had Woody Allen written the music for it.
Yeah,
who wrote the music for a bunch of his own films, Sleeper and stuff like that. Yeah, amazing jazz clarinetist. But that's interesting. Yeah, John with the sweeping orchestration and that the bit, he really knew how to set a mood with music. You know, just fantastic stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's and that's one thing I've never had the chance, and I hope I do someday, is actually work with an orchestra, be able to create something, and then just go in and hand out music and be like, "Are you ready? Let's go, let's play it." And my daughter Carly has a friend in Philadelphia that Will and Blair, Will and Brooke Blair, they are composers, and and it was really nice. They offered their studio to me, like, anytime I need to do something like that. I was like, whoa, all right, I'm down. So
here's an interesting take from Steven on the soundtrack to Star Wars, and that very well could be because of how they thought it was cheesy and campy and silly before.
Right.
Yeah. He made it cinematic. Is really, I think, the best way to put it. If I do say so myself, thank you very much.
Yeah, and he brought a little bit of seriousness to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. He made it a little serious, and that was what really helped push the movie.
Yeah,
so especially with the executives at the movie studios.
Yeah, and he just went on to do great soundtracks, not just for Star Wars, but he's just amazing. His work, his body of work. Let's see how well everyone's been paying attention. And Caitlin, you don't qualify, just so you know. I'm going to ask 2 trivia questions that have to do with something that came out of this interview. And the first one to answer on either channel for each question, live on Facebook, live on YouTube, Chris is going to reward you with one of his books. Steve, you can pop that up there on the screen again. So my first question is, when Caitlin went to audition for Cyndi Lauper, what was her physical challenge? First one to answer. I'm watching the comments. First one to answer. Here's the wonderful book, Raising a Musical Child. Steve, you don't qualify either. I know he knows that, though. Well, yeah, we don't either. What was Caitlin's physical challenge when she went to audition for Cyndi Lauper?
And she corrected.
And we've got a winner. We've got, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Tom Onzi. If that's Owens, maybe.
Yeah.
Broken foot, can't win. Oh, you can't win? Are you related or something?
He's a friend of me.
Oh, well, you spoiled it for everybody. Okay, I'll ask another question. I got 2 other questions. Don't worry, but that's okay, Tom. So here's another one. What? And don't answer if you don't qualify, because I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What TV show did the director refer to as a musical style for Chris to emulate to a degree for a film he did the soundtrack to about a gentleman coming to terms with Alzheimer? What TV show was mentioned? First one to answer, who qualifies? Let's see who's been paying attention. I'm watching the comments,
Give a hint.
Tom gave a funny answer. It's a family show, so I don't know if I should answer it or show it. It's not that answer, folks. Don't copy it. What it was just a little while ago. What TV show was referred to as a suggestion to Chris by the director of a film he was doing music for about a man coming to terms with Alzheimer, and the director referred to another show, so the music had sort of a lighter touch. What show was that?
I'll give a hint. Soccer. That's the only I'm going to give you. Soccer.
Okay. And if no one gets it, I've got all kinds of questions. Okay, no one knows. Wow. Okay. What band changed Chris's life when he heard that Brown album for the first time? What band was that?
I'll give a hint.
Oh, careful. And that's all you get. Tom, no one knows. Okay, people, chime in. Come on, you gotta be paying attention at least that much. I'll give a hint too. It's the band that changed my life. And when I saw them live at 14 in 1977, I decided to become a professional drummer instead of an oceanographer. My mom was thrilled.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
She found my first audition for my first real paying gig, which was a tour around the United States exactly 1 year later, though. So she got over it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. So I have a funny interlude. I'm going to let you tell a story because a month away from 63 and with diabetes, I got to use the restroom really badly. So why don't you tell a story about your daughters and the music they like today?
All right.
And then I'll be right back. There you go. It's all
right. All right. Hey, everybody. I wasn't expecting this, that I get to talk on my own. Let's see. The best part about raising kids that are into music is getting their take on music. I wouldn't have heard half the bands and know half the things that I know if it wasn't for them. So they probably teach me more than I've ever taught them. Bon Iver, if anybody is out there and you need to check out a band and you want to hear some amazing music, make sure you check out Bon Iver. And we used to go to shows like All Time Low. Does anybody out there know All Time Low? I'm sure you do. And yeah, one time we took my daughter to see All Time Low, and it was snowing, and I ended up on stage with the band, not playing with the band, but standing on stage. And my daughter absolutely flipped out when she looked up on the stage and saw me and my friend Jimmy. If you happen to be watching out there, Jimmy, we snuck backstage at the concert, and we got to get right on stage. And the kids flipped out when they saw us from the audience, the two dads standing on stage at this big venue. Yeah, it was fun. So, all right. Hey, I covered you.
You're the host, so it was great. And I know how we're going to give away the book. So I have a new idea.
All right. Okay? I should just put on glasses. Everybody would have thought.
They wouldn't know.
They wouldn't know the difference. Look at that.
Exactly. How funny. So here's what we'll do. On March, yeah, I thought so. Just checking. Wow, this is right around the corner. Jesus. March 3rd, which is Tuesday, we're having a game show one of our live streamed music themed game shows. And there's no purchase necessary, folks, but if you sign up, if you RSVP at drumtalktvbrilliance.com, drumtalktvbrilliance.com, and you scroll down, you'll see our event calendar. You can RSVP on the ad event calendar. I think that's live, right, Steve? I'm pretty sure. And then come to the game show. It's online. It's live streamed on Zoom, but we bounce it over to our social channels as well. But you can only play if you're in the game, and it's easy. It's so easy a bass player can do it. And it's music themed. And this game is trios trivia. Let me make sure. Yeah, it's trios trivia, right, Steve? It's at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. There's 3 rounds. So, and the fourth round, the 3 winners face off of each round. Each round, the winner of each round gets to pick some prizes. So what we're going to do is Chris is giving away $2. We're going to account for 1. So with each prize package, you get one of those books. That's Chris's new book, and that's how we'll do it.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah, and people can play for free. It doesn't cost anything, and they can win all kinds of really cool prizes. In fact, hold on, wait a sec. I got to show this. Here's a commercial. I got to show a commercial. This is one of the other things people can win. Check this out, folks. What concert would be your first entry if you had an ultimate concert journal? Your most recent concert? Your next concert? Or would you go way back like me and enter your first concert? For me, it was Led Zeppelin. Now you can with the I Was There personalized music performance diary premium hardcover book. This is for all live music fans who experience live shows from clubs to stadiums. And what an amazing keepsake, and it makes a great gift. Use Drum Talk TV 25 at checkout for a one-time 25% discount, so load up. Get yours now via the link in the post. And Steve will put that link in the post after the show. But you can win one if you come play the game. That's one of the choices. So you'll automatically get Chris's book. And if you win twice and someone's won 2 rounds before, you'll get another one. You can give one away or scalp it. And then you'll also get a choice from one of the many things from that company, Medley Merch. They got some real cool drum set themed clocks. They got some cool shirts. They got all kinds of neat stuff. So we'll do it like that.
I did the Led Zeppelin game with you guys that time. I won a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so, you've played. Yeah. It's fun, right?
I got the hoodie. I got the Led Zeppelin hoodie. I got this tapestry thing that I got up in my studio. Yeah, it was great.
Was that the physical graffiti game? No, it was.
Yeah, there was. It was just general Zeppelin trivia.
It was just all Zeppelin. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a fun time.
And what we're doing, it's trivia for this game, but it's called Majority Rules. And the way it works is like this particular one coming up on the 3rd. So you'll learn, but you can guess at the answers and get it right. And here's why. You don't want to answer what your answer would be. You want to read the room, see who else is on Zoom. Maybe it's how old everybody is. Maybe you're stereotyping. It's the cultures or something. And you want to guess what the majority is going to guess. So let's say, for instance, it says, what band would you drive further for, Rush or ELP? Remember, it's all trios. Or maybe Robin Trower or Jeff Beck or et cetera. So first one in the majority gets the most points. It's a really interesting game, and it's a lot of fun, and it's all guessing. And it's a blast. Yeah, it's different. So we do that one like maybe once every 3 months. The other ones are just straight trivia, correct answers only. So it's a lot of fun.
What is it again? I got to get in on it.
Yeah. That's the 3rd at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern.
All right.
And if you go to the ad event calendar at drumtalktvbrilliance.com, I don't know if the Facebook event is up yet, but Steve will make sure it is. He'll put notes in this interview that people can win your book playing that game. Well, he'll add that.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry to just dump all that on you, Steve.
Yeah.
I hope that's okay.
And people, just by the way, too, people can get it at Amazon. That's
Great.
where I published it through Amazon. It was the easiest way to go.
Yeah.
Than try to find like a publisher and go that whole route. It was nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And where can people follow you and get a hold of you if they want to hire you for something?
Oh, I'm on Facebook,
Okay.
so send me a message on there. Instagram, Cali Guitar on TikTok. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, Cali Guitar. I have Kali Guitar.
Okay.
Got about coming up on 13,000 followers. So and
Oh,
I
great.
do a thing called the 3 song challenge, and
Oh, nice.
I'll play 3 songs, and what connects those three
Those
songs.
songs. Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. And Steve put the RSVP in the comments on both Facebook and YouTube. Thanks, Steve. And we'd love to see you folks there. It's a lot of fun. Break away from the craziness on the news and social media and the argument at the dinner table. I'm just making that one up. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm sure there is.
yeah, it's just healthy escapism, and that's why we do it, just for a nice break and have some fun with some like-minded music fans, and it's a blast. Some cool gifts thanks to now you and also Medley merch.
Yeah, nice. Great.
Cool. Well, Chris, thanks so much for taking time. I'm excited about your book.
Thanks.
And I could think of a couple people that I'm going to recommend it for, maybe even buy it for, who I know have little kids getting into
Yeah.
music. One of my nephews is seriously getting into guitar, and he's, what am I saying? Nephews, my grandson. Jeez, I got so many of these people. Yeah.
Did you say earlier you have 19
What's
grandchildren?
that?
What you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't hear you wrong. You have
No.
19 grandchildren.
Yeah. Between my wife and I, yeah. And this particular one is my daughter Samantha's son Ben, and he's seriously getting into guitar. He's got a couple different guitars, a really good amp. He's got a little Line 6 amp and a cool electric guitar, and yeah, an acoustic guitar. And so I'll get him that book also.
Yeah, but this book it's for anybody, and I put in there you don't need to know music to
Yeah.
be able to help your child, and it can start from three months in the womb. So
Yeah.
6 months before the kid's born, you can there's some ideas in there that you can do. Just one last story related to this. My wife and I went to see Pat Metheny when he was doing the Secret Story tour, his album Secret Story, and she was 9 months pregnant. And I swear, when I played that album a couple months after Caitlin was born, I put it on. Caitlin started
grooving to it,
like she heard it before, And I believe in that. I believe that's the truth. The kids can hear in there.
Well, maybe I'll buy a bunch of them, because now that I think of it, our granddaughter Aisha just had 3.5 weeks ago, had our second great grandchild, and he turns 2, our second one. So she's 3.5 weeks old. And then the first great grandchild, her son, is going to be 2 on Saturday. So I'll get the book for her also. Yeah. And he's dancing. He does this thing. They put this curly black-haired wig on him and a sequin jacket, and he dances to Michael Jackson. It's hilarious. And he's 2.
2? Okay.
He's 2. Yeah.
What's he learning? He's learning rhythm, beat, performance, not to be shy, social skills.
But I think he has a little drum already, now that I think of it. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Get him a drum.
Oh, I got a bazillion hand drums and some of those Remo real colorful drums from their kids line. Maybe if I can remember, I'll grab one of those out of my studio and take it. Because if you want to really make a family happy, you buy their kids drums.
Drums, definitely. Definitely.
Cool. Chris, thanks so much. Stay on the line with me. And folks, thanks so much for following what we do. Check out what we have going on our events calendar and at Drum Talk TV Brilliance.com. It's a virtual playground for all types of music fans. It's not just for drummers. And we'll see you real soon. Thanks, everybody. Here we go. Join us for the game show, folks. Plenty of time to plan. Cool solo over the closing music by Chris Kalafus, famous author, artist, and film composer, right here on the show. We're like a box of cocktails. You never know what you're going to get, but it's always going to be good. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.